I don't think you want your dentist to operate on your heart now, would you? Hey everybody, this is Jeff. Once again, we're continuing our ICF wall pour videos. This is part 3 of a 3-part video, and it is kind of the same thing. I will warn you that, but we are going to do some discussion today. First of all, thanks for watching. Please stay tuned for the discussion. We've got this channel going here of us building the house, and like you to follow us along, and thanks again for watching. So today I'm going to talk about during the video, first of all, I guess we'll set you up here. This, if you haven't seen this before, this is our video pouring our walls, and like I said, it's the last pour. There's the truck dumping into the pump. That is a 46-meter pump. That's one of the bigger ones. I think they do have, statewide has a 53 also, but pretty unique machine there. There's not a lot to it, but yet there is. There's lots of heavy steel pipe and lots of hydraulics going on there. And pretty unique machine. Very interesting how that works. So they did us a great job. But today, well, first of all, I don't have anything rehearsed at all. I do have a couple notes here, but a friend of mine at church commented on the last video where I did talk a little bit about the concrete mix and how that all works, and we could discuss that for a whole day probably on concrete mixes. But gave me an idea. Today I'm going to just talk a little bit how to select a contractor, and this could apply to any kind of contractor, but I'm going to be speaking in the terms of a concrete contractor. And I do have a little bit of a notes here that I'm just kind of looking at, but I didn't rehearse at all. I want to thank the American Society of Concrete Contractors for this brochure I'm kind of referring to. We were a member, and we still are a member, even though we're not actively engaged in the concrete construction commercially anymore. We are American Society of Contractors. So if any of you out there are contractors, and especially concrete, I recommend highly that you join the American Society of Concrete Contractors. We've been members since 2002, so I guess that is 20 years. And I'm also a member of what's called a mixed group, and that is where there are 9 gentlemen in my mixed group of all concrete contractors, and we travel to each other's location once or twice a year and share ideas on business and management. And it's kind of like a board of directors and networking. I've been in the same mixed group for 19 years, so it's been a great blessing to us for our business. So I highly recommend you look into that if you are in the concrete industry. But we're going to get on with our discussion here. These are guides to selecting a contractor, whether it be concrete or roofing or anything else. But make sure you get at least 2 if you're new and you don't know the people, maybe even 3 or 4. It's depending on how much time you want to put into it. 2 or 3. Contact them, different ones, and get prices from them. Obviously, don't have them all show up at the same time. But so, excuse me. Kind of what you're looking for at each person is their pre-planning that goes into the job, how well they present themselves and their knowledge of the job, the experience and level of craftsmanship, their reliability and track record, and make sure it's a fair price. And I'm going to stress this throughout the video, cheapest is not always the best. So kind of keep some notes. And one of the questions is, does the contractor have a state-approved competency license, if required? We did not really have a license for concrete in Ohio. We had a lot of training certificates that we could have presented to people, hours and hours of continued education, many classes at World of Concrete. We took employees, we spent money on training, we take them to various ASCC events and so on and so forth. Ask these questions of what they're doing for continued education and or a license. Ask them how many years they've been in business. Someone just starting out, you may want to really look into their references and so forth. If someone's been in business 20, 30 years, maybe don't need to check into so much. That means they've been successful. Ask them to provide references from 3 to 4 similar projects, whether you're doing large or small. See what projects they have done before. Ask them to provide photos of recent projects they have completed, not just like manufacturer's literature. I've seen a lot of fellas that get a brochure from we're talking more of a decorative job here, but it can apply to anything. They show brochures of the products they use, but not of their actual work. Make sure they have photos of their actual work that they have done. And this one here is talking more about a colored job for concrete or fancy job. Make sure the contractors offer a wide range of design and color options. And then when they start giving their presentation and maybe trying to sell themselves, make sure they cover the site conditions, the preparation of the site, what they need to do to make the site ready for concrete, the materials they're going to use, what kind of mix, the sealer they're going to use, the reinforcing. This all goes into a good job. Some concrete jobs require caulking, saw cutting, joint spacing, we call that, maintenance things, construction schedule. That's a big one. Write down what their schedule will be and hold them to it. And then also you need to discuss up front the cost and the payment terms, and how much they would like up front, and then when final payment is due. Ask them if there's any warranty offered or terms with that. And then if you're doing decorative concrete, ask them if they have samples of their work. We had 2x2 samples we could carry around in our truck and show customers, etc. And we had several at our shop too. And we'd actually pour samples at our shop and have different people come and look at them. And ask them to provide a drawing or stake it out or paint on the grass where they're going to do the work. Maybe ask them what their full-time crews are devoted to. I always thought it was kind of weird. People would advertise, we do it all. Roofing, siding, houses, and concrete. Well, I don't think you want your dentist to operate on your heart now, would you? So why would you hire a roofer to do your concrete? That baffled me all the time. Hire a person that is specialized in that particular field. Don't hire one call does it all. That is not good. Ask them their schedule and availability. And then ask them also the work in progress expectations. How are they going to do the get into the yard? Where are their trucks going to park? Are they going to clean up at the end of the day? Ask them their safety precautions, their safety program. Do they offer drug testing? We had drug testing policies, and et cetera, et cetera. So just things maybe you wouldn't think about when you're talking to somebody. Ask for proof of insurance, liability, and workers' compensation. You need to have someone that has workers' compensation. You don't want to have an accident and then that person come back on you because the accident happened on your property. the company that you hire needs to have workers' compensation insurance. Maybe even find out if they have any pending lawsuits. You could probably do that on the internet or call the state that you live in and find out. And then the one I talked about earlier, membership in local and national professional organizations. We were members of the American Society of Concrete Contractors. We were members of 2 county chambers of commerce, etc., etc. So, and the NFIBA. So that's probably about all I'm going to talk about that today. Good luck with that. We're going to wrap this video up here. We really appreciate you watching. Stay tuned next one. Trusses are going up. I'm so excited. I can't wait. Thanks for watching, everybody.